Hi everybody and welcome to iLaserBeam ZX Episode 6. This is Flashman.
And this is Breakman.
Tonight's topic is, well, it's sort of a double header. Usually we don't do these. We did once, but it's not a usual thing for us. Though, then again, with most of our ELBEXs, we just get rapid trailed anyway, so we end up covering multiple topics.
Seriously, I mean, when's the last time we actually started and ended on the exact same topic?
It really is.
I don't think we've ever done that.
It really is a kind of a rare occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, seriously.
Well, tonight's topic is a two-parter. First off, as we mentioned in ELBEX5, we're going to be covering our opinion of the best Mega Man games in this column.
We were originally going to have it be a top 10 like ELB5 was, but not only will that just take too much time, but honestly, it's really hard to peg down which games are the best and in what specific order. I mean, it's easy to say what the worst game is. That's so easy, but all the other games that would go on the best of list, there's just so much differences between them that it's just hard to tell why one is better than the other.
It really is, and so to that end, we decided that since this is our 6th episode of iLaserBeams, technically it's our 7th because we did ELBEX7 out of order with this one, but
yeah, it just happened to work out that way.
Since this is our 6th canon episode of iLaserBeams EX, we decided to do 6 games. So we are going to discuss our 6 favorite Mega Man games and what we think is the overall best of the franchise. But before we get to that, we're going to go ahead and... Well, we're going to just go ahead and burn this one at the stake since it's relevant, it's happening, it's now, this is history. We've talked about it before in previous iLaserBeams episodes. And it basically the day of reckoning that all of us hoped for, none of us have expected, and a lot of us are disappointed with, has come to pass. The announcement of Mega Man 9 is upon us.
If you haven't heard, this is absolutely no joke. We're not pulling your leg. If you haven't heard, you are entirely out of the loop. And if you have heard, you may or may not be in the same boat as us. It seems that public opinion kind of differs depending on just who you talk to at whatever given time and what planets are in alignment.
Wildly, might I add. It differs wildly. It's not just like, you know, the vast majority are on this side of the boat with only a select few over here. I mean, opinions are, well, emotions are boiling, opinions are just all over the place, and once again, Capcom has made an interesting marketing decision that leaves them holding the bag, so to speak.
What's in the bag?
That's exactly what we're going to talk about tonight. Alright, well, let's go ahead now that everybody's abreast of the details and the topic has been spoken for. Let's go ahead and get this one out of the way.
Ladies and gents, grab your drinks and your snack cakes. Get comfortable. It's going to be a long one.
And if you have any small children that need tending to, if you left your car running and, you know, or if the parking meter is about to expire, or you've only got 3 more seconds for that S rank, you might want to go ahead and take care of that now, because I'm under the impression this is going to be a long one.
I hope not. We're going to try to keep this under an hour, but you know how these go.
We're just too livid to say anything else. So, yeah, here we are. Let's get started. Mega Man 9. Okay, I'm just going to say this. What the heck, Capcom?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get this out of the way first. 8-bit sprites.
Why is... And it's not just like 8-bit sprites in like an X8 setting where, you know, it's semi-3D with like an 8-bit Paper Mario kind of feel.
This is more than... This goes beyond just being, you know, paying an homage. Like, oh, this is cute. There's an 8-bit cut man in this entirely 3D game. No. Mega Man 9 is completely 8-bit.
Yeah. You know, we talked about this before, and I'm beginning to see this as a very disturbing pattern, but it's the regression of technology thing. We covered this before in the battle chips to battle cards to Swiss cheese scenario.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, what are they going to do for Ryusei no Rock Band 3? Ticker tape? I mean, Pogs? Maybe they
I could see Cyber Pogs.
You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a stone tablet and a needle being shipped with every game. That's what I'm seeing. It's here. Make your own battle brick and insert it into your cyber...
Grain buoy.
Yes, into your grain buoy, exactly. It's the regression of technology thing. It's like, okay, we started with the first 6 games were 8-bit, and as they progressed, we started seeing things like the parallax in Mega Man 6, and the background effects, the day-to-night transitions, that sort of thing. We really started seeing that in the later Mega Man games, but Capcom has had a notorious history especially with Mega Man, and I'm not...
Copping out. They cop out a lot.
Well, the word I wanted to use, and I guess it either is correct, I wanted to go with missing the boat.
Yeah, the ship has sailed. You're trying to build a new one?
Well, Capcom hops aboard the fail boat a lot, and I don't know if it's because of... Honestly, the impression I'm getting is that Capcom is treating Mega Man just like it's their cash cow. Like, Mega Man is their... Basically, when they need funding for a real game, they pull out Mega Man and use it as a way to generate revenue for their serious projects.
Oh my god, you know what? That completely explains the selling out of the later EXE games as well as the entire Ryusei no Rockman series. Because what just came out? Devil May Cry 4. What's coming out? Resident Evil 5.
Don't forget Dead Rising came out right about the time, I think, I don't know, which Mega Man game was that? Was that Star Force 1?
Quite possibly.
And see, anytime Capcom really needs to build, and as much as I'm very much afraid to say this, Ace Attorney is already embarking down that path as well. They've met with insane levels of both cult and mainstream popularity. They're new and innovative games. I mean, come on, can you say you've played a court game before, and a fun one to boot? No, Ace Attorney is very much popular. It's very innovative and unique, and what's happening? 5th game is coming out, Perfect Prosecutor, starring Miles Edgeworth, Phoenix Wright's rival. It's a new innovation for the Ace Attorney series, but if you sweep away the overlying dust and look at what's actually there, they're making a sequel, they're just changing a couple of minor things. It's another handheld game that doesn't require a whole lot of effort to be put into it, that has a lot of background material already existing, and what really frustrates me is Mega Man's been doing it for years, and it's only beginning to get worse.
This is definitely an indicator that it seriously is getting worse. I mean, if Mega Man... Okay, I can understand the whole taking the 8-bit graphics and being like, oh, this is for you, the fans. This is a complete throwback to old school, old-inch style, because it is retro and therefore hip and cool, and you will like it for that reason.
We could end this entire column...
I don't see this. I mean,
we could end this entire column right here if that statement was being explained as this game is not actually Mega Man 9. If this game was, like I said before, Mega Man, Dr. Wily's Revenge 2, or some kind of anything to indicate it is not the sequel to Mega Man 8, we would not be having this discussion right now, because we'd be saying, oh, awesome, we're getting retro Mega Man.
Yeah, we're getting a side story. This is cool, no problem here. But no, they're selling this as Mega Man 9 when, from all indicators, it doesn't look like it's going to be anything new and improved. I mean, it's not like we're against, oh, well, they're using 2D sprites. Oh, this is fail sauce on a boat. No. I mean, come on. The ZX games are choice. The ZX games are prime. Those are 2D games using 2D sprites. No problem there. But you can't do this half-assed. You can't do this half-assed 8-bit regression. I mean, it needs to have an art style similar to. at least similar to Rockman and Forte, where it's, quasi PlayStation quality, quasi Super Nintendo quality. That would be fine.
I would have
Mega Man 7. Go ahead, sorry.
I wouldn't have even had a problem with it if they had decided to make it run off of the Mega Man 7 engine with the Mega Man 7
Exactly.
Because I wouldn't mind seeing another Mega Man 7. I certainly wouldn't mind seeing another Mega Man 8, but we already did in the form of Rockman and Forte, which is basically, even though it really is Rockman 8.5, I prefer to think of Rockman and Forte as Rockman 7.5 because it's 8's graphics with 7's soul. Whereas this... I
guess that makes sense, yeah.
This is just Mega Man 1 through 6 all over again.
For the most part, I am not excited by these screenshots at all.
No, as a matter of fact, the word I want to go with is... I'm trying to think of the word disappointed seems a little too trite here. I want to go with dismayed. Honestly, I am dismayed looking at this because I feel that the future of the Mega Man franchise is bleak. And Capcom has been doing this now for a long time. I want to say it really started with Mega Man, and to do this, Professor Flashman and Professor Breakman are going to be giving you a little history lesson here. This really started with Mega Man Legends, and I know that probably sounds really insane for me to say that because you're thinking that was well over 10 years ago, but
yeah.
it really truly did start with Mega Man Legends, and I'm going to explain why. When Mega Man Legends came out, Game Review magazines, which at the time that's really all we had, and the internet, but the internet wasn't really as advanced in 1997 as it obviously is today. People didn't go to it as much for gaming news and reviews. But even all of that aside, when Mega Man Legends came out, pretty much everybody who had a opinion worth believing agreed it did not meet the technological bar that Capcom had set for its other titles, and just the bar of gaming in general.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they had already made their foray into the 3D realm, and Legends fell below the bar of even Resident Evil, which was really their big seller at the time.
And, Mega
graphically, at least,
Yeah, now, as far as an actual game, if you can get past, Porygon Mega Man, then hot dang on a biscuit, Mega Man Legends is darn near one of the best games you're ever going to play. But Mega Man or not, it's one of the best games you're ever going to play. But it was not up to... It wasn't up to snuff. And Mega Man Legends 2 comes out, and it is... once again, it's not up to snuff. It's 3 years later or 2 years later, and it just does not hold the same luster that games... I mean, by then, if I recall correctly... And I'm going to go ahead and wiki this just to make sure that I can back up my claims. But if I recall correctly, Mega Man Legends 2 came out in the year 2000. And I'm going to verify that just to be on the safe side. But I believe that Mega Man Legends 2 came out in the year 2000. And when it came out, yes, it did. It did come out in the year 2000. I'm looking at the title screen right now.
Excellent.
And for that matter, the original Mega Man Legends itself came out in the year 1998, so 3 years.
2 years, right.
Yeah. When Mega Man Legends 2 came out in the year 2000, as I recall, the Dreamcast was just beginning to build up ahead of Steam, and games on the Dreamcast looked phenomenally better than games on, of course, the PSX.
And I don't even think the PS2 was out by that point.
No, the PS2 was not out by 2000. And it was absolutely just... It was a factory of depression, because the game, while it's prettier than the first one, that's to be expected. It's the sequel. It's supposed to be prettier than the first one. But it didn't even look as good as other games. And, for a Mega Man game, and the Mega Man game series was, the PlayStation 2 did come out just for purposes. It came out in Japan on March 4th of 2000, so it was out by then. So there is no excuse. They could have put that game on a much prettier system, and
They could have.
They could have done things with it. I mean, look at all.
I doubt they would. I doubt they had the funding though.
Well, that's exactly it, and I think right there what you just said, not having the funding.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You come.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
You come right down to basically the point of everything I'm trying to say. But to finish the history lesson, the Legends series came out, and they were not up to snuff graphically speaking. Now, as far as gameplay go, they had it in spades. As far as adventure, story, characters, even the music was like drop-dead gorgeous. The graphics were just not there. And unfortunately, video games are revered as an art style, which I think is a bit of a misnomer, because art is something you admire. Anime is art. Video games are something you play and interact with. They're not art. They're something else entirely. And there was...
I say you could call them an experience.
They are an experience, but they're not art. Art can be associated with video games. Art is in video games. But the video game itself, I would not refer to it as a work of art. I would refer to it...
I wouldn't say that they're not art, but I wouldn't say that they're art in the the traditional definition of the word.
Yeah.
I think they can be considered to be works of art, but the fact that they are completely interactive nullifies the argument that they should be put on the same pedestal as a famous painting.
Or a good anime. And because anime, as I mentioned, is something you observe, you admire it, but you don't become involved in it. You don't interact with it. Whereas with a video game, it's completely different. So that philosophical statement aside, the Mega Man games they're such a huge part of Capcom. I mean, Mega Man is Capcom's main mascot, in the same sense that while Nintendo has Pokemon and they have Zelda and they have Metroid, they have F-Zero, they have all of these other games, ultimately their mascot is Mario. And, just like how Sega had all of their own spin-offs and all of their own games, their main mascot is Sonic the Hedgehog. It's kind of like whenever a Mario game comes out, you expect quality. Whenever a Sonic game comes out, you pray for quality. But, and I say that to my own hurt, because anybody who knows me knows I'm an obsessive Sonic fan. But
I feel you there, bro.
When a Mega Man game comes out, you're expecting the same level of quality, and unfortunately, Capcom started it with the Legends, but that's not where they stopped. Oh no, they didn't stop there at all. You see, because when Mega Man Legends 2 came out in the year 2000, it was not the only groundbreaking Mega Man title to be released at or about that time. No, not at all. In fact, let's not forget a game, as we mentioned earlier, Rockman and Forte, which was released at first only in Japan. That game was released, although in the year 1998, it was one of the last games released for the Super Famicom / Super Nintendo, and it was another groundbreaking title, so to speak, because it was as of until just recently, last canon Rockman game to be released. You can argue it's canon, you can argue it's not. Arguments for and against have been made. I personally choose to believe that it is canon because it does have a decent story, but it was already one of those games that had begun to give off that rehash feel. I mean, for starters, it was released on an older system, which didn't make any logical sense. Once again, funding. Once again, money. The Super Famicom had already run its course by the year 1998, and they decided to drop a game off on it. Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
Interesting that it probably became one of the best-selling games in the classic series.
True, absolutely. And the fact that they brought it over here and decided to port it to the GBA was, again, an interesting thought. But they didn't do that until 2000, 4 years later. Or, I'm sorry, 2002. My mistake. 2002.
Math fail.
Yes, math fail. But, seriously, all of that aside, why did Capcom take a game with 32-bit graphics and put it on a 16-bit machine, running off of the same engine that Rockman 7 runs off of? If you shut the sprites off and you shut off the backgrounds and you play the game side by side, it is running on the Rockman 7 engine.
It definitely is. They even shamelessly reuse most of the sound effects.
And
I have to say they did tweak it a little to address a lot of complaints that people had.
but
Mainly, like the height of the jump and the amount of damage that super shots take off and whatnot. But that's neither here nor there.
right, the point is, it is running on a modified version of that engine.
Yes.
And so as a result, it's not unusual for video game developers to reuse previous engines for new titles. Sega is notorious for doing that.
But I mean, come on. We've come this whole way. We're using completely different technology now. You're seriously telling me that we're gonna be honored that you expect us to kiss your butt for giving us a brand new NES quality game?
And that's where it leads us to right now. As I mentioned, Capcom has a notorious history of missing the boat. The first 6 Mega Man games, by the time Mega Man 3 had come out, the Super NES was already on the rise. They could have immediately started putting the new games on the new system, but they didn't. They said quantity over quality, and they kept putting the games on the NES. Okay, 6 games in a series on one system seems obsessive to me, even for a machine that had the lifespan of the NES. In fact, Mega Man 6 was one of the last 3 games to be released for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Mega Man 7 comes out onto the Super NES, and oh, wait, hold on. What is that? Is that the sound of the boat departing? It sure is. Well, it's time to move over to the PlayStation and Saturn for Mega Man 8, and then all of a sudden that's it, ball drop. Well, hang on a second. I don't think we milked the SNES good enough. Let's go ahead and put a title back on it. So here comes Rockman and Forte. On it, it's like, wait, what? And that was the first sign of the regression right there. Then they did it again with Legends with the graphical quality. Here we are with the Battle Network series, and that's something recent that I think everybody can remember.
Oh, yeah.
And here comes the Battle Network series. First game on the Game Boy Advance. Second game on the Game Boy Advance. Third game on the Game Boy Advance. Fourth game on the Game Boy Advance. Fifth game on the Game Boy Advance. Sixth game on the Game Boy Advance.
DS as well.
Yes, don't forget the DS, which just got a port of Mega Man Battle Network 5.
The fact that we saw it there at all, really gave me hopes that they were starting to move towards the DS and that that's the direction they were going to go.
And they didn't.
They didn't!
And now here we are with Star Force, and as much as I hate to say it, the DS is almost already completely played out. I mean, really, how much life do you think the DS has left? I wouldn't say another 3 years, to be honest with you. And
I don't know. It really depends. I won't pretend to be able to guess where the portable market is going. I mean, really, what can you say honestly that you're excited about any game being released on the DS or PSP these days?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I almost am forced to be, because the only games that I play these days are pretty much handheld games. I mean, Pokemon has always been a handheld series, so that's not going to change anytime soon. The few console RPGs Pokemon did have, while they were alright, they weren't anywhere even remotely close to the standards that the handheld games live by. The Sonic RPG is coming out on the DS. The Mega Man series has been almost exclusively relegated to the handheld games in the last probably about 5 years. And here we are with a console Mega Man game coming out. Oh, and hey, wait, guess what? It's not even tangible.
It's gonna be downloadable only.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's wonderful. So here we are, the long-awaited sequel, 11 years later. I mean, come on. A lot of stuff can happen in 10 years. You want to know what else happened about 10 years ago? There was a little-known game that came out for the Sega Saturn called Nights into Dreams. That got a sequel recently, and you want to know what happened? Yeah, that's right. That sequel ended up reusing an engine from another game series, but I'm not going to get into that. The point is, it came out as a tangible game with improved graphics, improved cinematics, improved overall quality, on a system that is popular, and it is here, it is now, it is something we can hold in our hands and say, I own this game. Granted, we had to wait a long time for it, but it is a real, tangible, feelable, touchable, pocketable game. Mega Man 9, on the other hand, a sequel to an arguably far more influential series than Knights ever hoped to be, comes out, and it's not even a real game. Oh, okay.
I can't even put it on the shelf next to all the other games of the same series that I owned.
Exactly, it's WiiWare. It's like, this is the kind of thing that I'm expecting from, what was it you called it, Breakman? My Chibi Pokemon's Farm?
Yes, my Chibi Pokemon's Rancher's Farm.
Yes, it is, which is a cute and fun little time waster and diversion, but I could rant about that for years. But I am expecting, when I hear of a Mega Man WiiWare title, I'm expecting something like that. Like, truthfully, Powered Up should have been a WiiWare title. It shouldn't have been a PSP game, because it has the feel of being a WiiWare title. It's like it's a cute little distraction, but it's not the meat and potatoes we've been expecting. It's closer to the pork and beans that is in the back of the refrigerator.
The steak is a lie. See what I did there?
I see what you did there, am I right? You are so cute, Breakman.
I'll shoot myself later. But anyway.
Since we're here, since we're talking about Mega Man 9, and since we're talking about the things we don't like about it, why don't you share a few thoughts with us?
Alright, I would be happy to. Okay, I'm gonna sort of tackle some of the confirmed features about this upcoming title, as well as some recent speculation as quote-unquote leaked by someone calling themselves The Shadow. And yes, you must say his... Wait, sorry, what? Yes, you must say his name like that.
Okay, so from now on, we will refer to him as The Shadow.
Yes.
Alright.
So, as a lot of you know, recently, The Shadow leaked a lot of information to Proto Dude's Rockman Corner. And, we're starting to see... It's, lean one way or the other whether or not you believe the guy's legit. I mean, some of the stuff that he's talked about has already come to pass, what with the recent Nintendo Power article on Mega Man 9. Now, one of the such rumors that he leaked is the fact that, for the first time in a canon series game, Blue's Proto Breakman is going to be a playable character alongside Rockman.
That's actually been confirmed, or is that under speculation?
No. I haven't heard an official confirmation of that yet. That's still under speculation. It has been... I think it has been mentioned that there will be other playable characters besides Mega Man, but as far as whether or not it's Blues, that has not officially been confirmed as fact. At this point, you could probably say, with the admission that there are other playable characters, you could probably say, okay, we're just waiting for official word, but we know that's what's going to happen. But still, I mean, that I'm actually, if there's anything in this game that I'm excited for, it's that. Because we've had a Rockman and Forte, why not a Rockman and Blues?
After all, Blues predates Forte by quite a bit, and theoretically, Blues is the father of all. He predates everyone.
Yes, technically. And he's also, I'd say, he's definitely a more important character to the ongoing series story than Forte ever was or will be.
That's kind of what you get when you jump in on the last two games.
Yeah, seriously. Well, 2.5, but...
we're digressing.
Yeah. Other than that, it's also been said that... no, actually, I think it's recently been confirmed that Rockman 9 will also be coming out to the Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network for download. Now, we have we have no information other than that. What I'm hoping and praying is that those versions are a little more touched up, preferably something along the lines of Mega Man Maverick Hunter X quality.
Now, when you say touched up, I'm getting the mental image in my mind of how the PlayStation 2 version of Mega Man Anniversary Collection is an improvement over the GameCube version.
No.
That's the mental image I'm getting. This is Capcom we're talking about here.
I'm hoping that, honestly, that they have... Because I could... Like, if you know about, like, the Wii's capabilities, it doesn't have that much internal memory. I mean, you can... So I could see... Mega Man 9 being 8-bit, almost a requisite for that system, specifically, just because of the limited space you have to work with. But on a powerhouse system like the 360 or the PS3, you really don't have any excuse. And honestly, I don't think that the majority of gamers who play on those systems are going to as open-armedly embrace an 8-bit game on their next-gen system.
I certainly wouldn't blame them. I mean, I have an Xbox 360 and a Nintendo Wii. I believe you have a PlayStation 3 and a Nintendo Wii, am I correct?
Correct.
And while I am not a frequenter of Xbox Live, I think it's safe to say that a machine with a hard drive in it...
Yes, that's exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I mean, I have, I think, 50 gigs on my PS3 that aren't even being used. And you can't tell me that that's not enough space to put a decent, up-to-date Mega Man game on that drive.
No, there is no acceptable, fathomable excuse for it being 8-bit. I want to address a minor concern because this is something that I want to address.
Go for it.
The Robot Master list has been confirmed from what I understand for this game.
Yes.
The Mega Man bosses are I think, driving force behind Mega Man, because when you stop and you take everything away and you look at Mega Man, he is about as generic as they come. Just on his own, he has really no superpowers. I mean, he has a Buster and
Weapon Copy.
But Weapon Copy wouldn't function if he didn't have anybody to copy from.
Exactly. And when you take it a step further, I mean, you get a hardcore Mega Man gamer and, a casual Mega Man gamer in the same room. Both have played the same amount of games. The one is going to refer to each game by their number and be like, oh yeah, I love the weapons in this game. And the other guy is going to be like, which game is that? And someone will have to tell him, that's the game with the train guy in it, Charge Man. Oh yeah, I remember that game. So really, the games are more memorable for the bosses that are in them than anything else, if you ask me.
And as much as I hate to say it, I mean, Mega Man is cool and all, and I don't have a problem with him as a character, but Mega Man is not my favorite Mega Man character.
That's fair.
And the reason
we all know who my favorite Mega Man character is.
I don't think even I know who my favorite Mega Man character is.
Okay.
But seriously, silliness aside, I'm not the kind of person that can decide on just one. The Mega Man bosses are such a huge and influential part of the Mega Man series because they're icons. They're what Mega Man is known for. I mean, you say Mega Man 2, and people are like, oh yeah, Metal Man, Crash Man, Flash Man, Quick Man. I remember those guys, man. That game was boss. And you're sitting there thinking, yeah, it was boss, and the reason it was boss is because of the bosses.
Don't say that anymore, please.
But, seriously, we have the robot bosses that are coming out in these games that define these games. And that's one of the things that I don't like about some of the other Mega Man games. It's like Mega Man Zero. I can't remember maybe more than 3 or 4 of the Maverick bosses in that game because...
You can remember that many?
Yeah, I don't even think I can. Well, let's see how many I can name. I can name,
Okay, we're done.
Cubit Foxstar. I'm serious. I can't remember anybody other than Cubit Foxstar. Am I not horrible? Or... Oh, and Anubis Necromancis number, whatever number it was. Yeah, I remember that one too because it's like Pharaoh Man. Wait, and
God, stop.
Hold on, and that's the key right there. I remember that thing. I don't even know what gender it was because it reminded me of Pharaoh Man, who's a far more memorable character, and he didn't talk, didn't have any lines, didn't have really any influence in the series. He was just another run-of-the-mill Robot Master boss.
He was just more Buster fodder.
Yeah, but I remember Pharaoh Man because that's the thing about a Mega Man game. I mean, you do a boss run. You go to the colorful worlds that the colorful bosses are in, you get their colorful weapons, and then you go fight Wily. And that is a Mega Man game in its truest and simplest sense right there. So the bosses are not only, I think, an influential part of Mega Man, but perhaps even the key to Mega Man's success itself. And
That being said, what do you think about our current roster of losers?
wow, well, you've kind of ruined the mood right there, but I'll try to salvage what's left. Well, first off, let's consider the fact that every Mega Man boss, with the exception of the first 6 from Mega Man 1, and Tengu Man and Astro Man, every Mega Man boss from the 9 canon Mega Man games, again with 1 being the exclusion, was designed as part of a contest. If you guys remember the NetNavi contests they did a few years back in Koro Koro, then you'll probably be interested to know that the original boss characters from Mega Man 2 onwards were also all designed by, basically they were winning entries in contests.
Yeah, this is nothing new. This has been going on forever.
Pretty much from the start of the series. And what I don't know if the bosses for Mega Man 9 are created by fans or not. I am inclined to believe they are not. And the reason I state that is because there was no contest mentioned for this game. Or if there was,
I think if there had been a contest,
but
if there had been a contest, we would have been privy to the fact that Mega Man 9 was coming out long ago.
Which is exactly why I don't think that these bosses are fan-created. So, or they could be fan-created and be leftover entries from previous submissions. I mean, after all, if you go back and you read the old magazines, how many Clown Man and Magic Man concept designs, Sword Man, how many of those were created before Capcom finally settled on the ones that ended up being final products? So without further ado, this is a set of 8 Robot Masters, or 7 Robot Masters and a Robot Mistress. I don't really know what to say here. Of course, we haven't seen them in action. We know nothing about their names. We don't even know, or nothing about their weapon names. We don't even know what they look like. We've just got a set of 8 Robot Master names here, so let's do them one at a time in order, and we'll just kind of nitpick them. I guess I don't even know what to say here. My head is spinning. First one on the list is Magma Man.
Okay, you could kind of see this coming. I mean, we need another generic fire-based robot master.
Because fire has been the lifeblood of the Mega Man series pretty much since Battle Network. It's always been
seriously. They're some of the most memorable robot masters.
It's always been the favorite weapon. I mean, come on, we picked Fireman for the Capcom Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Magma Man. I'm guessing that screenshot that shows Mega Man jumping and shooting at the dragon with shooting the firehead fellows. I'm guessing that's probably from Magma Man's stage.
Yeah, that's a pretty valid guess there.
Magma Man, to me, though, it's like, yeah, another stock fire boss. I don't really have a problem with that, but we've already had 4 of them. We really don't... Do we really? I mean, we had Fireman, we had Heat Man, we had Flame Man. If you count Turbo Man, that's a fire boss, technically. And then we had Burner Man. It just seems like a waste to have another fire boss when there are so many other original concepts they could have used.
Still, to play devil's advocate, it's kind of expected.
It is a prerequisite, yeah, another fire boss.
I mean, like even think back to Mega Man 8. I mean, which boss did you go after first?
Of the 4 that were available, traditionally I always go after Tengu Man because his weapon.
I usually go after, and this applies to even the X games for me. I usually go after the ice boss first, and after the ice boss, I usually go after the fire boss.
Which is funny.
That's just how I roll. Yeah. Well, except in Mega Man 1, where if you do that, you're screwed. But
and in Mega Man 6, the ice boss was weak to the fire boss's weapon. So
yeah, exactly.
That's sort of uniquity there.
Even then, I went after him first. But I digress. My point is that, I'm not outright opposed to it. I kind of expect it, but, I mean, my real problem is just Magma Man. There's got to be something better we could use here.
Well, not only that...
even Torch Man. Just to cause even more confusion. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I would be, Torchman the Third, correct?
Essentially, yes.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, moving on.
Next up, Break. Who's the next one on the list?
Next one is a name that actually reminds me very much of both Cosmo Man and Astro Man. Now we have Galaxy Man.
You missed Starman.
Screw Starman. Nobody cares about him. Generic shield weapon for the loss.
But it was at least a shield weapon you could shoot.
Eh.
It was better than the Skull Barrier. Give it that.
I mean, someone like Galaxy Man, if we were doing that with Mega Man 8 style graphics, or even Mega Man 7, which is so much, you can do so much more with that medium, I'm just... Again, we're going back to, 8-bit is going to ruin this game, oh my god, and you guys are probably sick of hearing that by now, but Galaxy Man, really? Come on.
As much as I hate to say it, get used to hearing that, because the game hasn't even been announced for, 2 weeks? And
yeah.
It's not even out yet, so you're going to be hearing that probably for 2 years after its release. 8-bit ruined Mega Man. I mean, get used to that.
Ironic, isn't it?
It is ironic. Jewel Man.
Jewel Man.
We
had him already.
Yeah, we had him already, and we didn't like him when he was called Crystal Man. I don't think we're going to like this far either. Jewel Man, if I had to guess, I'm going to say it's going to be another basically crystal sphere ball shoot weapon that explodes, or actually, I'm thinking of the weapon from, I want to say it's Blizzard Buffalo's weapon that shoots a...
Frost Shield.
Yeah, it shoots an ice tip, and I'm getting basically a mental image of Jewel Man's weapon being more or less the same thing.
You know what, though? I could actually see it being a shield weapon that actually reflects people's weapons back at them.
That would be,
just complete speculation, but wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that would also be really overpowered, too.
Yeah, it would. Which means it's not going to happen, so forget I said anything.
Yeah, if it's logic, Capcom's not your man. And now we have number 4 on the list. Break, go ahead and hit us with this one while I duck and cover.
Oh, you can't get any more generic than this. Concrete Man. We've had him before also, and we didn't like him then either.
Concrete Man. This game is building a mental image for me of Mega Man 5. I don't know why. It just is. I'm seeing Mega Man 5 with, throwbacks to Mega Man 4 in this. And while the classic Mega Man games are great, I would not put 4 or 5 at the top of the list. I would kind of shuffle them more, towards the bottom of the list where they'll never be able to hurt anybody ever again.
These Robot Masters are definitely not, the level of epic that we're looking for.
It's getting worse. Oh, wow. Number 5. Number 5 is Hornet Man.
Seriously? We're that far out of ideas?
I'm kind of, waiting for Mega Man 10 to come out and there to be a Robot Master named Kuwanger Man. I mean,
yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's Hornet Man is... well...
While we're at it, let's just go ahead and full out and just put 8-bit Mega Man, in X8 with X1 bosses that are in 16-bit and just screw everybody's brains completely. Why don't we just do that? Ultra Force! Mega, Mega! I mean, that's how I feel at this point.
I can't speculate anything about Hornet Man other than I'm getting a mental image of Blast Hornet and Commander Yammerk. And I honestly don't like that hybrid I'm seeing in my mind.
It's an abomination.
Number 6.
Plugman.
Yeah. This sounds a little interesting.
Other to Sparkman.
Yeah, it's definitely the counterpart of Sparkman. This could actually be interesting because it could be... I'm trying to think of a way this could be interesting. Break, help me out here. It's not...
Well, I'm picturing some concept art for a Plugman in my head, and really, this is probably the closest we're getting to the sort of quirky Robot Masters that people remember. I mean, what's a good example? Pirate Man, for example, is decked out with a pirate hat and missing one hand in exchange for a claw. or just that sort of quirky robot master that just looks a little oddball. I mean, I'm picturing like Mega Man 8 style concept art with like a guy just like with a typical electrical socket plug sticking out the top of his head, and I find that cool in a way, but really that's the only Robot Master on this list that I'm getting that Robot Master vibe from. All the others just sound like
rehashes of Robot Masters we've already had.
Exactly. I mean, I'm actually getting a Rockman and Forte Wonder Swan vibe from the rest of these.
And with that having been said, number 7 is Tornado Man. Tornado Man. We had a Tornado Man, and we had him in the previous game. He was actually in the 2 previous games. And his name was Tango Man, and he was cool because he had a good weapon. And now he's in this game, and apparently he had a name change, and he's Tornado Man now. Tornado Man. Tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, alright.
Next!
Yeah, that having been said, here we are with the last one on the list. And the last one on the list does not make any sense because it completely shatters the mold that every Mega Man game up to this point has set. Now, mind you, we're not referencing Mega Man Battle Network. Mind you, we're not referencing Mega Man Legends. Mind you, we're not referencing Mega Man Zero. All of
and
which...
we're most certainly not sexist either.
No, absolutely not. Anybody who knows me knows that the vast majority of my favorite anything typically packs an XX chromosome. But I mean, I'm sorry. Why is there a female Robot Master in this game? Splash...
And why now?
Splash Woman. And Splash. That... Splash. I'm getting a mental image of, like, Aqua Girl. Like a mermaid. You know what? That's exactly what she's going to be, too. She is going to be a mermaid.
Shut up, shut up. Oh my god, no.
I mean... Yeah, just... We've got a winning set of Robot Masters right here, and talk about a full house. I mean, I just don't understand why now, why in this game that is so controversial already, and will only continue to snowball in controversy. I mean, GameFAQs must be alight with terror and speculation right now.
Oh god, I don't even want to set foot over there.
Oh no, I'm staying over here where it's quite safe, thank you very kindly. But...
Safe and sane.
Splash Woman, I just don't know what to say to that. I mean, we thought it was controversial when you could fight Roll in Battle Network 4. We thought it was controversial when you could fight a nurse in Battle Network 5, Medi. But I just can't... You know, you think about the Robot Masters as public enemy number 1. You gotta hunt him down and kill him so you can get the weapon so you can kill the next one. I don't know, I have a hard time envisioning Mega Man going after a female, and it doesn't seem very chivalrous of him. It's like, well...
But at the same time, this is Wily doing, and whatever. But, it's not that this is necessarily a bad move, but it's just a really unexpected one, and one I'm not so sure that everybody is completely ready for.
It seems just basically like a quirk they put in this game to make it sell more copies or something. I don't know.
I guess.
Well,
all in all, though, I have to say that the projected plot for the game is actually kind of interesting, and it's an interesting take on the Dr. Wily sets up somebody else to take the fall for his own doings. Because in this case, supposedly, Dr. Light is being set up as the mind behind the Robot Master attack. I find it actually pretty interesting.
It does seem kind of interesting, but obviously completely implausible, as that's honestly about as believable as Mr. X. Boy, I sure thought...
yeah.
I sure thought those hands looked familiar. And that chin, man, totally tipped me off. Yeah, thank you.
And all he does is throw away, his Groucho Marx, rubber nose, and fake glasses.
And don't forget, I think he had one of those little freshness dots on his forehead, too.
Seriously. But no, the idea behind the story is certainly an interesting twist on it, but, as far as why the heck... But that's as far as it goes, though. I mean, seriously, why would anybody believe Dr. Light attempting to take over the world?
It doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. It sounds like Mega Man 5, like Proto Man is evil. We didn't believe that either. So
Exactly.
that's why I said this game is giving me a whole Mega Man 5 vibe to it. Well, let's go ahead and move on. I mean, we've covered the Robot Masters. We've covered, the fact it's 8-bit. We've covered the fact that we don't like it, and we've never even played it, and we don't like it already. I mean, we've covered the fact that we're spoiled and disappointed and embittered old men. We want our old Mega Man back, and now that we've got it, we don't want it. We want to give it back to Capcom and say, here, you take it. Never mind.
Changed our mind. Sorry. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We want our old new Mega Man back. But I find this little tidbit on Proto Dude's blog very interesting. Gameplay is intended to surpass that of Rockman 2.
I believe that.
No, I'm sorry. Take that just a step. Rockman 2 is what, almost 20 years old? Saying that the gameplay is expected to surpass that is like saying we expect to see a cloud.
That's like saying, Mario 3 is guaranteed to be better than Mario 1. You promise.
That's like saying that's not even that good. That's like saying, hold on a second. We expect to see a new Sonic character in a future Sonic game.
That doesn't suck.
Well, that might be going a little far, but I'm sorry. I just expected to surpass Rockman 2. Big deal. How many games have surpassed Rockman 2? Granted, it's a classic. Granted, everybody loves Rockman 2. Whoop-de-doo, Metal Blade. Yay, Rockman 2 for the win. But it intended to surpass Rockman 2. That sounds like right there. If they're hoping to surpass a very old game, I don't know. That's like saying, well, we hope to be better than we have been for all of the other games. It's almost like if Capcom isn't confident in themselves, then why should we put any faith in this?
Well, I think we've pretty much lit into that for definitely long enough. We're going to take a quick break. We're running pretty late here, so we're going to take a break, and we're going to split this column into two separate halves. We're going to continue this on the second half of Laser Beams Episode 6, so we'll meet you after the break.
Be sure to turn the cassette tape over so you can hear the second half of this wonderful read-along Golden Book.
And whenever you hear the chime, turn the page.
好きな日も